What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the announcement of the Zoro serialized card that is going to be, I believe, a reward for finishing top 4 in the Treasure Cup coming up this year. You can see it's going to be serialized out of 600, so not a ton of these going to be in existence, and I do believe this is going to be a very expensive card. How expensive? I'm not sure yet, but I do want to talk about promo cards in this video, and I talked about it in I think last week's kind of like eBay update. I touched on it. I'm going to go a little bit deeper in this video, and you could go very deep looking at promos because there's so many One Piece promos. There's so many things to know, like where they came from, pop reports, etc. I just want to give my opinion on what I think about promo cards, and if you are going to invest in promo cards, what you should be looking for. So this Zoro is a very good example of what would be a good promo card, in my opinion, to invest in. The first reason, obviously, Zoro is a very popular character. So, like with any card in One Piece, you want to invest in the most popular characters. And I've had people argue with me before all the time about who's actually a popular character in One Piece and who isn't. I think probably everyone on the Straw Hats, I mean, even that's like probably a bit of a stretch. I think Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Nami, like those are very popular characters. Chopper, sure. Outside that, like you want to probably throw in Shanks, Gold Roger. There's a few other people. There's probably like 10 or so characters I think that are solid investments when it comes to the One Piece roster. Now, outside of that, picking a popular character, you got to pick an artwork that's good. Now, with these promo cards, I don't think they're the best artworks in the world. I think they're cool. Like, this is a pretty dope artwork of Zoro, but I don't think it's the best. Now, is this better than maybe like the Luffy serialized card? If I can find it, we are going to go through all of these here in a second, so you're getting a list of all of them. This Luffy here, the serialized one out of 700, probably better artwork than this. I don't think this is a very cool artwork, but we'll get to all those in a second. So I think if the artwork's good, that's another great thing. But then also just the rarity of the card, right? So this is going to be serialized out of 600. You get it by finishing top 4 in the Treasure Cup. So it's going to be difficult to get. There's not going to be a ton of them out there. And for that reason, I think it's also a fairly good play. And you could even go a step further. A lot of these are probably going to be PSA 10s. People are going to send these off for grading. There won't be a ton of raw copies, I would imagine. But you can go a step further than the PSA 10. You could go for the Beckett Black Label, the BGS 10 Black Label. And I think that is probably the play if you have the money for a lot of these cards. Now, the black labels are very expensive. You can see here when we looked at the Luffy, if I can bring this up, it's selling for about $14,000 now in a BGS 10, PSA 10. They're about the same price, maybe, give or take $1,000, whatever. A black label is probably going to be upwards of like $30,000 for this card. Now, I don't think the Zoro is going to be that expensive. It's unlikely, but it could get fairly close to that. And for a lot of people, that's going to be outside of their price range. They're not going to be able to afford that, in which case going for the PSA 10 is probably going to be a good choice. And there are lower end promo cards as well, because some people just don't even have, $3, $4, $5,000 to invest into some of these promo cards, like these other Luffy's. This one's serialized out of 1,000. You also have the super pre-release winner, excuse me. That's a pretty interesting card there. Some of these Namis are getting expensive as well. And then all these other ones I brought up. So we have this Zoro, which I believe is a Treasure Cup prize as well. And then you have the Kaido, the championship card from 2023. You have the Shanks promo. I believe there's actually 2 Shanks promos there. This one's actually serialized out of, is that 1,600, I believe, on that? So it's good that Bandai is putting serialized cards out there, and they've chosen the most popular characters to start with. Like, you have your Shanks, you have your Luffy, now we're gonna have a Zoro. That's great. I think that's all fine. But just know that those are the things that I would look for if I were going to invest into promo cards and slabs in One Piece. If I wasn't going for, cards that I could pull out of a booster box, I would call like mainline sets, right? So in terms of the promo cards, it's got to be a popular character. Bonus points if it's a solid artwork. The better the artwork, higher on the rating I would give it. And then also just the level of rarity, right? It's like if it's serialized, awesome. If it's a BGS 10 black label of a serialized card, even better. So that's kind of how I would approach promos in One Piece. Find something that's rare, popular character that looks good. Now, you can go with any of these. Ace as well, by the way, has a serialized card. I think that's awesome. But there are some cards that you could get that aren't serialized. I do like some of these Luffy cards. This one's obviously serialized. The Rebecca Championship card I think is an interesting one just because it's fairly rare. You also have some less popular characters that I think you could choose from. You have Big Mom here. After that, you have a Vivi. I think this is probably a solid artwork for Vivi. I'm sure a lot of people that collect waifu cards would like that one. You have the Gang card, which has a very low pop of 18 there for the PSA 10. Total pop is 18 as well. So they're all PSA 10s, which is crazy. And then there's just an entire list here. You can go all the way down. You can find cheaper cards. I do like this Zoro. That's about 500 bucks. We've seen this card pop up in PSA 10 a few times. I think that's a good artwork. And you could go through this and find whichever ones you like. Again, just pick the best characters. For example, Kuzan, probably not a character I would invest in if I was going for promo cards. Perona, probably not at the top of my list either. Even Yamato, I think you're getting maybe a little bit too far down on the list. Now, if you want to factor in the waifu element, I think going for a card like this Reiju, the Namis, sure, that's fine. Like if that is your thesis that these promo waifu cards are going to be very expensive, awesome, you can go that route. But for me, that is just not something I would do. And you guys know in general, I always recommend sticking to sealed product. I think for a lot of people that have the funds that aren't worried about running into liquidity issues in the future, you could probably do very well on some of these top end promo cards and even just the slabs in one piece for mainline sets like the Gold Roger, the Alt Art Luffy from '05 now is crazy popular. Some of the other top mangas like the Gear 5 Luffy, the Gear 2 Luffy from EBO2, these cards you'll probably do well on. But if you have less money, you're worried about liquidity, and or you just don't want to deal with the volatility of some of these high-end slabs, just go for sealed product. And guys, I did want to end the video by showing you a couple things. So this is the blue bottom booster box of Romance Dawn. You can see TCG Player still around $2,200. It's just because there aren't a ton of sales that this doesn't update faster. With the most recent sales we've had, $3,095, and both of those were on the 21st of September. We did have a sale yesterday, $500 USD. I'm pretty sure this is just a white bottom that got sold under the blue bottom listing. I can't imagine somebody sold a blue bottom box for $500, and if they did, it's probably a fake box. But then over to the white bottom booster boxes, the most recent sales, 537, 556 almost, 554. We had one at 425 that probably doesn't have the wrap because it says it's opened. Three at 555. So the white bottom boxes are now somewhere between 500 and 600, and the blue bottoms are consistently pushing $3,000 at this point. And one more thing I wanted to talk about in terms of sealed product, EBO1. Guys, this was the box that everybody told me was going to absolutely crash in price once they reprinted the cards inside in PRBO2. I said multiple times that just wasn't going to happen. That's not how sealed product works. And this is now up to almost $400. Recent sales, $386 from yesterday. Before that, we had 5 boxes sell at $380, $378, $380, $373. So the 5 most recent sales on TCG Player over the past week and a half are all over $370, and some pushing even $386 USD. But that is going to be it for the video. You guys let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Are you invested into some of these serialized cards? Are you excited about this Zoro promo? I think some people in my comment section are probably going to be trying to get their hands on this. Also, on Wednesday, we will be doing a lower tier eBay auction update video. And then on Thursday, I'm going to talk about the top 20 non-manga cards that you can pull from mainline sets. So that'll exclude promos and then any of the manga cards. That is going to start being a monthly update in my spreadsheet. So if you're in there, you're going to be able to look at all the numbers, all the data that I pull from that. And I know it's going to be a lot of work, but I am excited to continue adding to the spreadsheet and building it out. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you did get some value out of this, I'd really appreciate if you leave a like, subscribe to the channel. It helps out a ton. Leave a comment down below for the algorithm. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.